Alright guys, it's Scrappy again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. So much roster chaos last night after Cammy gets officially released by the Boston Reach and his replacement comes in. There was a serious trickle-down effect to what that meant for challenges. As a result, with the elite roster lock happening yesterday, all the teams needed to scramble to decide what their roster was going to be. As expected here in the challenges world, some players sketching on their teammates, screwing over former teammates and now most certainly rivals. Doug Center Martin was among one of those players affected, navigating the chaos. Very much into your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. We're going to dive straight in. So, after some rumours and theories, Boston Breach have officially let go of Cammy. Now, this is an interesting decision. I'm not saying it's the wrong decision, but the fact that this is seemingly the only change they are making for now is to me somewhat surprising. To me, Nasty, yeah, sure, he's the star of the show at the moment. Snoopy had a solid year last year and started this year very well. The last few weeks have not been of the same ilk at all. Maybe they still have some faith in this Purge Snoopy duo. I'm not quite sure why. So Cammy is gone. Spart is officially in. That was confirmed yesterday. I mean, Bush leaked it themselves, but now it's official. But as it stands, this is the move and this is the only move. So Spart is in, Cammy is gone. Is it going to make a massive amount of difference? I'm not sure that it will yet. Maybe it revitalizes something at the team on a small level, but I don't know if a one-man move is enough to really do much with this team. Maybe they can have a short-term bump. We will see. For Spart, I think it does make sense. You get to play with Nasty, who's a quality player. You get to go to the league and get paid something far more respectable than what Cloud9 were offering. You still get the Bush boys wishing you the best. And you get to play with Snoopy, who's, you know, been a promising player for some time, but his potential still hasn't been probably truly unlocked as of yet. And some people believe that, you know, he's had enough time, let's say, to show it at this point. So it's an interesting one either way. I'm a little bit surprised that they've done this, you know, just as a one-man change. There was some discussion, even Zinni was talking about it and saying, look, when Cammy goes down to challenges, he's going to fry and people are going to say, get him back in the league. Cammy also discussed in the replies, or Methods discussed in the replies, that he would have done what Bance suggested, which is try Cammy on the sub. If you're going to make a one-man change, then maybe a one-man change plus a role swap could have been an idea. You let go of Purge, you put Cammy to the sub, you bring in somebody else. Could have been an option. They've not done it, and of course that led to some chaos. So Bush, they needed a new player. They're bringing in Big Wake instead. I was kind of hoping it was going to be Beans, just because I think the content there would have been fantastic. But look, maybe there's still a future in that. It's still kind of early in the season. But Big Wake is into the Bush. So after TJ is gone and now Spart is gone, Big Wake is in instead, alongside Prolutes, Capsule, and Fire. That is the remainder of that team. But of course, Cammy had to go somewhere as well. And with Cammy dropping down from the Pro League, he has a ton of pro points. And look, you can debate how good the pro point system is and all of this, but pro points are very important because the more pro points you have as a player, and therefore the more that your team has, the better seeding you get, the more automatic qualifications you get for tournaments, the higher seeding you get in cups, the better results you're likely to have, the better it is at the LAN tournaments, the more likely it is you're going to win, more likely you're going to qualify for the World Cup at the end of the year, all that type of stuff. So pro points are critical, and if you were a pro in the league, you drop down with a ton of pro points. So absolute chaos unfolds. Now, this wasn't even directly related to the whole Cammy stuff, but just an hour. So rosters locked at like 3 yesterday. PaulX, an hour before they lost, decided to sketch on the FaZe Falcons. So the FaZe Falcons was not exactly the Stallions, but it's kind of his Swooty's team, effectively, which obviously ZooMaa is involved to a great extent. But PaulX decides to sketch, and this yesterday was a classic day of Tier 2 Call of Duty action when someone leaves to join a different team, they sketch on their teammate, they leave their other teammates a little bit in the dark, all of a sudden people are scrambling to try and find rosters, and it's an absolute mess. So King of Body joins instead. So it's Nox and Gentle, those were the two Saudi boys with Swooty and PaulX, but PaulX rage quit and King of Body comes in instead. So that is the team. I don't know about that. We'll see. Nox is now going to run the second AR as a result. Didn't expect Swooty to be on a team with 3 Saudi players at the start of the season. That is now where we are. The other big development was Fellow. So Fellow got dropped, as it turned out, for Cammy. Now Fellow, as he says, free agent for the next elite. If you want to win, bang my line, he says. Of course, he needed pretty quickly to get a roster together in time to get everything decided. Cammy joined instead of Fellow, so they dropped him. It's Brack, Cammy, asim, and ReeaL. That's the team of 4. Of course, there was some debate because Luca was on this team not long ago. ReeaL is there now after what happened with Toronto, so it's like, you know, who made those decisions, who was involved. I think Fellow said that he definitely didn't make the decision to drop a Luca, but anyway, he's been dropped himself, and he wasn't very happy about it, and I can understand it, right? So he says that he got dropped, at least that is the implication, that he got dropped because he's too slow on the map. That's what he implies. And then he's like, well, this is the clip, and he's peeping the pace and whatever. So yeah, all sorts of drama. Again, you know how it goes in challenges. If they wanted to drop him for whatever reason, whoever decided to make those calls, they've got to come up with some sort of reason, and they're going to say, you know, fella, you're just playing a bit too slow, like we've not got the pace on the map. The answer probably is that they didn't want to play with him anymore, right? Like, they just wanted to drop him and get somebody else in instead. So, like, obviously Fellow's going to come out and do a couple of tweets to say, look, I'm playing with some serious pace. I don't know what these clowns are talking about. The reality is he's on a new team now instead, and, well, hopefully we get a nice little rivalry going on there. Fellow then actually doubles down and puts another clip out there of him frying to kind of suggest, look, I don't know what my teammates were talking about, but they need to get their heads wobbled or whatever. So, Fellow is on a new team. But he does say, first time I've ever been dropped in challenges, and it's 30 minutes before the roster lock. Apologies for the valid crash out on the timeline. So this was one of the players that was affected, right? Because Cammy was dropping down. Now look, Cammy's got a ton of pro points, so some good team was going to pick him up. And also he's still a quality player, and I think he's going to do well in challenges. Just been very inconsistent, of course, in the Pro League as of late. But Fellow says, yeah, I got dropped 30 minutes before. But that's Fellow, very notable player. He's going to get another good team elsewhere, which he went on to do. But again, we've got people sketching just before the roster lock, and there was some debate, could we extend the roster lock, right? It was at 3, could they have pushed it back an hour because all of this chaos was happening? Even if they had done that, I'm sure there would have still been chaos up until 5 minutes before the roster lock anyway, but it would have given some players the time to actually adapt. So, Paul X, after sketching on FaZe Falcons, joined the Falcons Academy White with Arcetes and 2ReeAL. So that was what Paul X sketched for. Didn't want to play with those Saudi boys on FaZe Falcons, wanted to go to this Falcons Academy team with Arcetes, 2ReeAL, and then Fellow. So, yeah, it's interesting, and as TU describes in the replies, like, who's running the sub apart from 2ReeAL? A lot of AR players on that team, it's got to be said. So, then they closed the signups, and this is when it started to become clear that Doug hadn't made it in time. So, Doug had a team going, and his teammates, Icons and Nate, they decided very shortly before roster lock, with only a few minutes on, I mean, it wasn't exactly 1 minute, but with only a few minutes on the clock, they decided to sketch, to go elsewhere, to join a different team. Doug then was scrambling with his teammate Alpha, who's come over from France to live in the States and try and make this happen and, you know, make the move, kind of like what Trakes did, right? I mean, there's been other notable players that have done this too, but Trakes is a pretty good example because he moved from Argentina to the States in hope of an opportunity one day in the Pro League, which of course arrived, and he's really taken advantage of it right now on the Heretics. So, and we've seen this, you know, even with Aluko is another good example, right? Probably a better one, really, because it's similar, comes over from Germany out to the States, and of course he's got the collegiate thing going on as well, but that's given him the FaZe opportunity. So Alpha's done the same thing. He's come out here to try and make this dream a reality. He's been playing with Doug, and unfortunately their teammates sketch on them. Doug tried to resolve the situation, but unfortunately just ran out of time, and the admins weren't maybe as helpful as they could have been. So I'll let Doug describe exactly what happened here and all sorts of other drama.
Tom, we have an emergency.
What happened?
Paul left, so we need one in roster locks in an hour for the elite.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Wait, Paul is sketch on FaZe
Where
Falcons?
did he go?
I don't fucking know. Sweetie, where did he go?
Oh, a lot of
Joining
gay,
Falcons
man.
White.
He's really gonna leave me a day before my surgery, dude?
Wait, why,
A day before your surgery, an hour before roster lock, Tom.
An hour before, like, there's no way
We
Big
need to get
Paulie would
forward.
do this to me, right? Big Paulie would never do this to me, right?
why
Well,
would
I
Paul
was
go
in the
team
team
with
with Big
Ben,
Paulie.
can you shut the fuck up? I'm on the phone.
Go back. That was lustful.
I was in the
That's
team
awful.
with Big
Go back.
Paulie. Swooty comes back, pokes me, and says, we have to talk. And then Paulie just disconnects. User is disconnected from your channel.
Oh
So,
my
yeah,
God, bro.
we need a fourth. Now.
Oh my God. Why don't we get Cammy? We might as well just get Cammy.
All right. Let me text Cammy.
Yo, text Cammy, see what he's doing. Text Cammy, see what the hell.
When's the elite qual?
Chat, when's the elite qual start?
I think it has to be this weekend because it starts on Wednesday, elite next week. So.
Doug is fucked? What do you mean Doug is fucked?
Oh, let's go, Riley. Well, Doug might have got dropped from by Gunless apparently.
He got
Doug
dropped?
doesn't have a team right. Yeah, Doug and Alpha are a team of 2 right now.
Alpha?
Yeah, Doug and Alpha apparently by themselves.
Damn, they dropped DCM? 1 minute before roster lock?
Yeah, Doug and them might be fucked.
They dropped DCM 1 minute
Yeah,
before roster lock?
Doug might have a generational crash out then.
That's fucked up, bro. You can't drop DCM 1 minute before roster lock. That's fucked up. What the fuck?
The flank waiting room. I'll drag him.
Oh, I got him.
I'm cutting.
What's that, Doug?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Doug.
Yo.
Doug, what happened, Doug?
All right, let's walk you guys through the process of this, all right? So,
Yeah.
wow, okay. We go to the LAN, teammate calls an EMP, gets us forfeited. Face it, literally looks at us and says, you forfeit.
Who's your teammate?
Icons got us forfeited. for
Okay, so
calling an
Icons is
EMP.
brain dead. All right, that's number one. All right, keep going.
So he calls in the EMP. We lose 28,000 pro points because of it. Like, I can't make it up. Like, we literally were going to win the series 3-1, and everyone on Fame's team was dropping an average 0.4 KD. Like, all of us had, I think our worst KD was a 2.0. Yeah, he calls in the EMP. We get forfeited map 4. Then we lose the S&D round 11. We had no S&D reps as a team, but it's not an excuse. We lost 2 maps in a best of 5 and got forfeited. Lose. Come back home. Icons had an offer joining this other team. And then I'm like, all right, bet. And then Nate hits us up at 2:32. He didn't even hit us up. Rafi was telling me everything. The players themselves, Icons and Nate, didn't say shit to me or Alpha, which is what pissed me off.
Typical.
Yeah. So then Rafi told us at 2:32. I didn't even know the roster lock was at 3 until like 2 something, like 2:15. And then I literally flew home, get on my PC. We had players that, I'm not going to say who they are, but we had players that wanted to sketch. And we also had players that were like this guy named Jet. He got top 16 on LAN. He's really good. Like, he wanted to play too. And obviously, like, me and Alpha are just like, all right, well, just get the best 2 players we could get. But I literally couldn't even add them and like invite them to the team in time. I tried the best I could to do it, and I just couldn't get it done. And I was on the like ticket support, the FaZe admins at like 2:55, like saying, "Hey, I'm trying to make the team. Can you please work with me?"
At Nate, at Eden
15
Icon
Cedric.
saying, y'all fucked over Doug and Alpha. Feel free to use this tweet to defend yourself, brother. I don't need to defend
Really got
myself.
fucked over with all the teams trying to play the elite that didn't get in.
Icon's reaction here definitely got people talking. I know that there was people saying that, oh, this guy's the new Gunless or whatever. I don't know whether you think that's fair or not. But yeah, I just thought this clip here and the lack of just any sort of empathy or he just doesn't even care. It's like, yeah, I screwed him over, but it is what it is. Maybe I've now got a better team. Unlucky, Doug. It is what it is. So, look. We'll see. Hopefully we get these dramas continuing going forward. Again, it's one of those things where people will say from the outside, oh, these guys, they just ruined their reputation, right? They're screwed over Doug. They've ruined their rep. People aren't going to give them any respect anymore. People know they're scumbags, whatever. Maybe that's true. There's certainly an element of truth to that. Certainly from the outside, from the fan perspective looking in, that is the reality. But will the pros, the top amateurs think that way? Depends how good they are. At the end of the day, whether they get away with some of this stuff. Even Rafi, because of course this stuff was happening within the Omit situation, he says scummy behavior across the board today doesn't feel right when it happens to people I know are good people. I'm all for looking out for yourself and putting yourself first, but there's simply better way to do things than screwing people over. So it's tough because like Rafi's still going to be funding these teams with some of the guys that have sketched kind of under his watch to a degree. Not like he can do much about it if the players decide they want to do something else. At the end of the day, it's kind of the player's decision. But maybe Rafi will have second thoughts on exactly which players he keeps under his wing, as it were. These, therefore, are the rosters that auto-qualify, based on what we see. So, of course, it's the Bush. You got Vivid's team with Gia Macanuli. You got Nemention's Johnny Renegade and Raspy, of course. That is the Huntsman. Roxas, QK, Luca, and Standy, one of the Falcons Academies. And then Phantoms, QB, Ruper, and Darkside. Those are the only 5 teams that have the auto-qualified rosters. All the other teams, they've got to play through the qualifier. There'll be 7 spots as a result available after all the chaos has died down. So, yes, that's the update. Very much intrigued to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments below. Look, as Nameless says, this is not new. Back in the day, it was equally chaotic. And, you know, we're talking about JoeDeceives, we're talking about Nameless. Even the other day when, who was it, like Octane and Zinni, they were talking about, and Havoc was in the call, they were discussing how they used to team kill Tyler Fellow until he left their team and rage quit, right? Like, nowadays, these guys are adults, they're grown men. But back then, they were 16, 17, 18, you know, it was chaos. And, of course, today, we've also got a crop of younger guys in challenges that are putting the same tricks. Nameless says, I was on 4 teams at once with different accounts on COD 4. One time, JoeDeceives said he was going to soccer practice and he was scrimming with a new team. So, like, it's Call of Duty heritage. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.